Well, hello. How are you? It's nice to see you. This week, we're going to talk about progressions. What is a progression? Well, let's get to the root of the word. Progress, how things move. And when we're talking about music theory and chords, we're talking about how chords move, how root movement moves, how the progression of chords goes. So, up until now, we've learned, if we were thinking in the key of C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or in any key, really, right? It doesn't matter. The numbers are all the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when we refer to a progression, we're referring, like if I say it's a 1, 5, 1 progression, we're talking about the root, and I guess that would mean you would need to know what key you're in. So let's just say for now we're in the key of C, right? So if we're talking about a 1, 5, 1 progression, we're looking at the root as 1, and then to 5, back to 1. It's how the roots progress, how the chords progress. And when we say, maybe say it's a C, G, C progression, a 1, 5, 1 progression, we would be referring to the root, C to G to C, okay? And for the moment and for the rest of this term, we're just going to talk about diatonic. We're going to just stay within the key. There are certainly alterations to this. There's more than diatonic, and that's great. But right now, to get this down, we're going to talk just diatonic, and that means within the key of C, just completely within the key of C. So for this situation, just no flats or sharps, okay? So one chord in the key of C would, of course, be C major, right? A 2 chord would be D minor. 3 chord, E minor. 4 chord, F. 5 is G. 6 is A. 7 is B diminished. And then back to 1. And right now we're just using triads. And I know we've talked about sevens, but just for now, we're going to just talk about triads. Just get this together, okay? All right. So let's just say we want to, the assignment is, or the song that you're listening to that you want to transcribe has a 1, 4, 5, 1 progression, okay? So 1 to 4, because that's line of fourths. So you don't have to count up to 4. You just have to remember your line of fourths, which you should know by now. Okay, so 1 to 4 is C to F. And then from 4 to 5 is just up a whole step. That separates the tetrachords. And then from 5 to 1 is also a perfect fourth. See how useful that is to know that and not have to think about it? 1 to 4 is C to F. Up a whole to G, then through the line of fourths, G to C. Pretty simple, huh? Let's put it in another key. Okay, we're going to take that same progression, the same 1, 4, 5, 1 progression, and we're going to put it in the key of F. And just to remind ourselves, 4, 5, 1. So it's going to be F, B flat, C, F. F to B flat, perfect fourth, up a whole to C, also up a perfect fourth to F, okay? F major, B flat, C, and back to F, okay? Here's a little bit more of an interesting voicing. Now I use some inversions in my right hand. Okay, so some of you are going to start off just like this. You're going to play triads in both hands, and you're just going to do everything in root position. That's okay to learn this and get it, especially if this is like, a little bit of a mental struggle. Just do what you know, okay? And then back. But for those of you who have a little bit more experience and you have a little more piano chops, you might experiment with getting this voicing nice and kind of hearty, right? So just playing the roots and the fifths in the left hand, and then playing the triad in the right hand. You could experiment with some inversions right here, if you like, and keeping that root and fifth in the left hand. Same thing here. Now, if you want to try the root and fifth in the left hand and keep the triads in the right hand, no problem. Keeping everything in root position in the right hand, that works. But the basic, most rudimentary, for those of you who are, this is just your beginning, this is, you know, we're still trying to figure this out, then just do it in root position for now, 2 hands, okay? You might think, why do I have to use 2 hands? Well, because your left hand will get lazy and think it doesn't have to do anything, when it actually needs to do sometimes more than your right, okay? Let's put in another key. Let's try something with, how about 4 flats? How about 8 flat, okay? So let's think through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in this particular progression, in this diatonic progression, we've got all major chords, right? So A flat major, D flat major, E flat major, back to A flat major, okay? Okay, so here's your basic progression. Triads. A flat moves to the line of fourths to D flat, up a whole to E flat, and then E flat moves to A flat to A flat to the line of fourths. Okay, there's your basic voicing. Here's something a little bit more interesting. I'm going to go way down here, even though it's not on the piano. Now, what I like about this is that I use inversions in the right hand. That's really nice because it's easy on the hand. But again, if this is, you know, you've never played piano before and this is the first little bit, that might be a little complicated, and that's all right. But if you kind of got that down, it makes for this nice voice leading here in the right hand. So it just kind of depends where you're at, all right? So progressions, chords that move. It's how something progresses, how a song progresses, or how a piece of music progresses. And when we use numbers, it refers to the scale tone. So if we say 1, 5, 1, C, G, C. 1, 5, 1 in the key of E flat, E, B flat, E flat. Okay, and these are used all the time. They're like the backbone of Western music. So this week, your job is to play all of your 1, 4, 5, 1 progressions, all 12 of them, okay? And I always remind you, little tiny bits, don't do this for 3 hours and hate it. Do it for 15 till your brain starts to get a little tired, and then stop. And don't always start with the key of C, because I know it's kind of easy and you don't have to think about any of the odd shapes or anything, but you know, start off with B. So B becomes easy. Yeah. Start off with A flat. Start off with E. Start off with something that makes those keys that are maybe not quite as familiar more familiar, because eventually they'll just get there and you'll be like, yeah, it's no big deal. It's just a 1, 4, 5, 1 in the key of B. Okay. Happy practicing.